again, and welcome back to Ljubljana Talks here at IBTM 2023. With Gorazd, we have another exciting guest here with us. So, Drew Holmgreen, the Chief Brand Officer of MPI. Thank you for being with us.
Absolutely, Jan. Good to see you.
Let's just go straight into it. Could you briefly tell us what MPI is and what is it that you do?
Yeah, sure. So, Meeting Professionals International, it's the largest event professional association in the world. We've got 12,000 members around the world, 67 chapters. Our big focus is on professional development. The main way in which we do that is by education and connections through networking.
Okay, so and this is also a big part of your activities here at IBTM, right? You've been organizing the educationals here. Could you tell us a little bit more about
Yeah, sure. So when we come to an event like IBTM, we typically like to provide those two main components, education and networking. At our booth, we actually have a shared stand with the Event Industry Council, IAEE, and SITE. And each of us has brought education all day long. So we've got education sessions that complement what IBTM is putting out here. So we've got education on sustainability. I'm doing a session tomorrow on artificial intelligence. We have another couple of sessions on meetings trends. So we really like to fill our time with things that are valuable to each individual. And they're kind of a little bit of a microcosm of what MPI does in general in terms of education, providing a lot of certification courses, online courses in these same topics. And then in addition to that, that's the education side. For professional development, we want to make sure that we are providing the opportunity for networking. So we have an event that's taking place later this afternoon at our stand, and then a larger member reception this evening.
Yeah.
What defines an excellent meeting association? And what is your differentiation from other associations globally?
Yeah, so I think what defines the association industry in general, it goes back to professional development. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we all need to be advancing ourselves. And the best way that you can advance yourself is by learning and connecting. So the best associations will provide kind of the best in class for those. And I feel that that's exactly what MPI does. Now, I think our secret sauce, our education is paramount to what we do, and is, again, in my opinion, and it's not just because I work there, but in my opinion, we are ahead of the curve in terms of our educational offerings. I think what makes us special is the way that we localize it. So we've got 67 chapters around the world, 10 here in Europe. We are actually the largest industry association in Europe, in addition to being the largest association in the world, in Canada, and in Latin America. So with that, though, we have localized activations in our 67 chapters, and those chapters take guidance from us and localize the education. So not only are we providing those connections, but we're providing that local relevant education through our chapters, and I really think that's what sets MPI apart.
We saw, the meetings industry has seen tremendous change lately. Which changes marked your work recently? You deal a lot with the communication and you take care about the brand itself. So what is now different than it was before?
Yeah, I think what the big change that's happened in the past 3 years is the youth movement and the refreshed workforce that we have in this industry. There was a study that was put out by Freeman last year that found almost 60% of the industry is turned over. So that means more than half of the professionals that you see walking around here are new to the industry. And when that happened, we got a injection of new people into the industry that are younger. So that average age dropped by 10 years. So you got a lot of new people who are bringing new energy, new thinking, fresh perspectives. There's a significant youth movement taking place. And to be quite honest, this industry will benefit from that. And so as an association, it's our responsibility to take the education, to take the networking, and to connect these individuals, upskill them, teach them the fundamentals of this industry and kind of the advanced learnings of this industry so that they can be the next generation and push us forward.
So you see that the industry has been rejuvenated in a way, which is great. I think we talked about this before, that we simply, we need new blood, to put it this way, because this shows you also that if young people come in, there's change, there's there's an interest in the industry. But how do you see the industry being changed with technology and the main elements of AI and ChatGPT? How do you see that coming into the industry now?
Yeah, so there's always been human beings like to have everything for me, right? Like I want it now, I want it fast, I want it right just for me. Okay. One of the things that the event industry needs to continue to adapt and embrace is that customization and personalization of experience. Because I want, when I show up to an event, I want it to be customized to exactly what I want to learn and the people I want to connect with. We've had some good technology in the past, matchmaking and things like that, that's really helped. The implementation of artificial intelligence is going to amplify that in a hugely significant way. We've got an event that we put on each year called World Education Congress, and we're partnering with Cvent right now to take use of some of their AI technology so that, Jan, when you go to register for the event, your profile on our website will be recognized immediately. It will then pair you with education that we're doing at the event. We'll build your itinerary for you, which you can then go change. It will build your itinerary for you, and it will then identify other people who are attending WEC and say, you need to meet with this person, with this person, with this person. I think we're just seeing more interest in trying to learn and become skilled in that advancement in the States than over here. But I would tell you that in the States, we are focused on sustainability, but we're not taking it far enough. And Europe is much more ahead of the curve than the States is right now.
Very interesting point. But what about creativity? Will AI take over also that part of the human, I would say?
No, yeah. So that's a big fear that everybody has, is that AI is going to take over. The reality is it is complementary. And that's a bit, the whole name of the session that I do is Never Fear, AI is Here, because there's really nothing to fear about it. To be quite honest, on my end, I'm a brand marketer by trade. I've been doing it for 23 years. We'll call it that. So we'll round down from 25. Make me seem younger. But what I see my marketing team do and other people within the creative space is they're tapping into AI as an influencer, but not as the decision maker, right? So I've got a photographer friend of mine who has been trying to create the perfect picture in Times Square of a band marching during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade while rain is coming down, okay? He's not been able to do this on his own, but he's been able to take composites of different pictures, then stitch them together using DALL-E through artificial intelligence. He just posted this picture on Instagram the other day. It is absolutely extraordinary, but here's the thing. AI cannot, from a visual perspective, still can't manipulate human faces quite well enough. So he has had to go in and then, as a human, take this concept that he's been able to build, use AI to stitch it together, and then humanize it. And that's the piece that AI cannot do. It can complement us, it can supplement us, but it cannot humanize us.
Very interesting point again. And let's focus also on this, on your event in Europe, on the Luxembourg event. Can you share some details, I would say, speakers they will come to Luxembourg and other things about the event
Yeah,
itself?
absolutely. So we're excited. Last year, or I guess this previous March, we were in Brighton, UK. Had an absolutely great event. It was the first time we'd had EMEC in person since 2020 in Sevilla. Had a number of great speakers. Did some really innovative formats within the event itself. We're going to pick up a lot of that, pick up those learnings and position them into Luxembourg. It's exciting. We are in market right now, bringing all of our speakers together. So our call for proposals is out there. So we don't have our speakers just yet, but we're actually in the process of vetting and talking to them. I've met with a few of them here on site. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. If there's interest in speaking at EMEC, now is the time. That RFP is out there. So from a format perspective, Luxembourg provides such an incredible backdrop for this event. I did a site visit there about a year ago, and it was the first time I'd been to Luxembourg before. There's a few things that I really like about it in terms of its ability to host EMEC. One is the central location is unbelievable. It is the ability to get there, whether it's by air or train or car, is so easy. So it's an easy trip for everybody. It's a gorgeous destination. The dichotomy of old versus new, I thought, was really, really interesting. You've got the old city that's still got the prototypical, in my mind, European wall around it, and then a valley that separates it from the new part of the city, where you've got the European Convention Center of Luxembourg, and that particular facility is set up to host European Union meetings. So it's very interesting the way all of the rooms are kind of set up in rounds and pushed down to a floor where our speakers will be. So just the environment itself is very engaging and interesting. So yeah, we're excited about it. And the tagline that we're going to release our marketing next week, the tagline is "Fill your heart in Luxembourg."
Yeah, I think our colleague Lina from Luxembourg, she's gonna be really happy about your description. But tell me another thing, because you've touched upon the artificial intelligence sustainability. How did you see? Because you said you've been in communications and branding for such a long time. How do you see communication change? From within the meetings industry? I think, there's a lot of change that has happened. Some is more obvious, some not. Yeah. But because you are working with a global association, how do you see that change for you?
It kind of goes back to what I said a second ago about personalization. So as a marketing professional, what you're going to continue to see, and what we're really pushing to get out there, is communication that is just for you. There's so much technology that's been in place for a long time, that's been maturing over time, and now with the congruence of artificial intelligence, marketers are going to have the ability to change the website when you visit it, the communications that drops in your inbox, potentially the social feed that you see, web banners that you get as you're browsing the internet. That's how communications is going to continue to change. I will tell you that the meetings industry is a little bit behind the curve in terms of that personalization and customization of communication. When you go to a website like Amazon or Netflix, you'll notice that everything is customized for you, and that's based on algorithms that they have in place. We're a little bit behind that curve. We're not quite there yet in the meeting space. So that's a big change that's going to take place in communications.
So because of this lag in, let's say, in the way that we utilize the tools that are out there, do you see the meetings industry and tourism in general catching up, or do you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's a learning curve that simply needs to take place. I worked before I got into the meeting space, I worked for advertising agencies, and a lot of my clients were hospitality, tourism brands, hotel brands, and hotel brands especially, tourism brands a little bit behind, but hotel brands are at the forefront of this. They're very smart in how they use this new technology. The meetings industry will catch up. We lag behind a little bit for whatever reason.
So what are the future steps for MPI in Europe, actually? What are your plans?
Yeah. So very good. So we actually, we've seen a lot of growth within our community over the course of the past 18 months or so in Europe, especially. I anticipate that growth continuing. One of the big changes that we've made recently is a restructuring and redesign of our chapter leadership experience. So we now have implemented regional councils throughout the world, and that we've created an EMEA and APAC regional council. So this is a elected council where there will be a regional chair and a vice chair, and then a representative from each of our chapters that creates this council. What's great about this council is it creates a body of regional-based experts that can help the chapters, give them some consultation that's accurate, appropriate, and relevant to their needs, and really give them that peer-to-peer guidance. It's a big change that's taking place throughout the world and in all of our communities, and it will really help grow and facilitate our chapters at that local level.
There's some parts of Europe not covered by your chapters. Do you have any plan about that?
Yeah, and so this is also, that's where these regional councils will really help facilitate growth, because they'll help identify different areas of Europe where there is opportunity, and not just Europe, but the Middle East and Africa and Asia. You know, there's the communities there need organizations like MPI. They need that professional development, the education and networking. So having these regional councils really direct and push the chapters will help facilitate that growth in emerging markets or markets where we just don't have a good foothold yet.
Okay. Can you name one big challenge we need to solve together as an industry, actually? What
yeah,
would
for
you
sure.
say?
Workforce. It's workforce. You've got so many new people coming into this industry. We've got to help educate them and connect them, and that's one thing across all of our associations that we're seeing and we're dealing with, is that you've got all of this great new blood that we've been talking about, but they've got to learn quickly, and we've got to help facilitate that growth.
The MPI EMEC event has been, I think, on the calendar of European events for, as a kind of a must-go event for many years. How do you see the industry change in regard that there's more and more events happening? We see, of course, some events are becoming bigger, more global, some are going into regionalization. How do you see this, and how does it fit into your strategy?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question, and it's something that we have certainly considered, whether EMEC should maintain itself in terms of just being a European event, or if we should start to create smaller events that are regional in nature. And it's something that we're considering and thinking about. Right now, we're going to maintain EMEC as a European overall event. One of the things that we really like about EMEC is that it brings our European community together. And when we had a gap there in 2021 and 2022, it really hurt our community over here. EMEC, when we had it in Brighton, the one thing that I noticed is that, and even when we show up at IMEX and we show up at IBTM, it's a reunion for our entire community. Whenever we come together, our community they want to be together, to see each other. The education is critical, but what's interesting in Europe especially is that the networking is so much more important for this community. And so when we can come together in a big event like EMEC as opposed to regional, we just see so much more power there. So that's why I don't think the format's going to change anytime soon, but it's still something that we're evaluating and just considering for the future.
Do you know a famous Slovenian basketball player playing in NBA? Somebody who is playing there?
Luka
You are
Dončić?
from Texas? Luka Dončić,
Yeah.
very good. Thanks.
So just so you're aware, I live in Dallas,
Okay.
but I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan, so I love Victor Wembanyama.
Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Very
but my
good.
son,
Yeah.
my son's 9 years old. I raised him as a San Antonio Spurs fan, got him all excited about Wemby.
Okay.
But then I'm walking him to school the other day, and he says, "Dad, I've become a Mavs fan, and I like Luka." It just tore my heart apart.
So that was the right question,
he told,
obviously.
And he told me that Luka is better than Wemby, and I said,
Wow.
right now,
Right
maybe.
now,
But
maybe.
give it maybe 18 months, and that's going to change.
Cool. And we finish with fire questions. A really simple one. TikTok or Facebook?
Now or future?
Now.
Now I think Facebook. Future maybe TikTok. But what you're seeing on these, what you see in Facebook and Instagram, they are adapting and starting to put out their own things like Reels to mimic what TikTok is doing. So now Facebook, but maybe future TikTok.
Beer or wine?
Oh, beer. Oh, beer. I'm a big craft beer nerd, so yeah, I brew my own beer. No, I'm a beer guy. Oh yeah.
Well, thank you very much for this chat, and thank you for being on Ljubljana Talks. And we look forward to, to seeing what happens in Luxembourg.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Very good.
And,
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned and see you soon. Thank you.